This week's first impression video is on Pro Basketball Manager 2024, the fourth iteration of this game that I have covered, and I'm very pleased to announce that they have indeed made improvements upon the last version. I've played so far about an hour and a half of this, gone through all the options and played a single game, and I'm very happy with what I've seen. There are significant improvements over the last version, and I hope you enjoy the game as much as what I am doing. If you would like to see more content on this game, please do let me know in those comments down below, and I might start a fresh save and do a let's play. Let's jump straight into those options and see what they've added and what changes they've made. As always with the options on a management sim, you're not going to get a lot of graphical options or anything like that. There really isn't a need because it's mainly text-based with very simple graphics for the actual gameplay itself. However, you do get a lot of management options, and they have actually added something which I am so grateful for. I've been asking for it. They even DM'd me on Twitter to let me know that there was a surprise, and the second I opened up the options, I knew what that was. So you can go for windowed mode or not. You don't have a borderless window or anything like that. Even in full screen, if you click off it, if you've got multiple monitors, it will just close the game down and turn off the sound, which can be a little bit annoying, especially if you wanted to maybe stream this game or make content on the game. It can be a little bit awkward. You can change your language as well, but you've got to change that in the properties of Steam. You've got your currency. Interestingly enough, I completely forgot to save these settings, so it reverted back to what it was when I played the game. I didn't even realize. I just clicked on back. So do make sure you save the game. But you've got Euro, US dollar, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, British pound, and Chinese yuans. We're obviously going to go with British pound here. Height unit, you've got centimeters or feet. I tend to go with feet. Weight unit, this is the big one. They've added stones. They have actually added in British stones as a weight unit. This is fantastic. I don't care if I'm the only one. This is a great addition. I have been waiting for this for 4 years now since covering this game, so I'm very happy with that. You can choose it to not play music when launching the game. I mean, I quite like the music when you start the game, but that's fair. Sometimes the music on a startup menu can be incredibly loud. Maximum skill value, so this will basically allow you to have greater aspects when choosing your team, etc. Display of team names, home and away or away and home. Display of odds. I really like the fact they've got this. So you've got decimal, fractional, and moneyline odds. I've kept it on decimal, but you can change it to British format. Why not? Simplified trades. That's always a good option to have. Your volumes. Now, they have got music for just when you're chilling out. They didn't have that before. However, the music starts at maximum, and at maximum it is very loud. As you can see, I've turned it all the way down because it is just so overpowering. Honestly, it's great that they've got more music when you're just browsing through the game and stuff. It does add to the ambience, but maybe turning it down on startup would be advised. But it is an improvement on last year, so I'm not going to complain too much. And then you can have the date format how you want, or just based on your language, which I'm completely okay with as well. Your games options, you got your quality of graphic 3Ds. They are improved on last year, and you'll see those, but they're still not like, you know, you're not going to be getting FIFA quality animations or like Last of Us 2 animations for a basketball game that is sped up. Like, the main crux of this is the management, so it's nice that they've got better animations, but yeah, you're not going to get a huge amount of graphics options here. You can use animations on billboards. That's really cool, actually. It looks really good in game. I like that. You can have the volume of sound effects, etc. I'm going to turn them down a little bit. Quality of fans, quality of the stands. You've got normal or only the first rows. Highlight the player with the ball. I like the fact they've added this to turn off. Honestly, it's not the greatest. I'm going to leave it on for video purposes so you can see what it looks like. It's better than last year. It's not as in your face as last year, but it's still, I personally don't like it, but I like the fact they've got it there. It is an accessibility option, and the fact that you can turn it off at will is nice, and the effects on the ball as well. And then you got your shortcuts. So you can change your shortcuts for things in the game, which is pretty good. I like it. We are actually going to save that this time because we're not going to be silly. And that's your options. I'm actually very impressed. They've added more options. They've added stones. They've given you some more accessibility options. The only thing I would say is turn the volume music down by default. So Unimix, if you're watching, please do that either as a patch or for the next iteration. When you create a new game, it is important to note that you do have to select the mod. Now, the default mod, which is a bit strange that they've done it like this, but that's what creates or holds all of the character creation and everything. And if you don't select it, you can't start your career. So I don't know why they've done that. I don't know if that's to decompartmentalize and allow it to install easier. You've got local mods and mods installed on Steam, so you can start having better portraits and stuff. The fact that they've got mod support from day one is fantastic. Really, really happy with that. And then once you create your career, once you've done that and you have created your career and it's loaded up, you can then create your manager. So you can choose a first name, a last name, your gender, your date of birth, your nationality, and then you've got a load of options here. You've got a number of skin color options, which is nice to see, different shades. Then you've got different haircuts. The fact that you can have bold is really nice. They do have a lot of haircut styles. It's more than you'd expect considering it's just an avatar, but I'm a big fan. I like the fact that you've got so many to choose from. It would be nice if it cycled all the way through, or if this was more of maybe a drop-down menu as opposed to being side to side. It can take a little time to get all the way back to the option that you had because it's only scroll one or the other. I think a drop-down menu like this would be easier to choose from. Then you've got beards, and there are a fair amount of beards. You've got 7 different beard styles to choose from. I'm a big fan of that. I'm always a big fan of seeing more beards in the game. And then you've got different hair colors, which is also nice to see, all the way to essentially transparent, but basically white. So lots of fun there. It does make it known that, you know, once you've selected this, it can't be changed unless you change a new career. So that's worth noting. And then you have your different styles. You can go with a tactician and it will automatically allocate those points. You can go to manager, or you can go to a tutor. I tend to stick with jack of all trades since I have no idea. No idea about this at all. I openly admit I know nothing about basketball, but I do enjoy management sims, which is why I've continued to cover this game over the years. You can then change your points about freely and do what you want with it and, you know, make it custom. And the good thing is that until you have allocated your points, you won't be able to continue. So that is the character creation. It's not too bad at all, considering it's basically just going to be a sort of a profile picture and then your overall stats and gaining them there. If you know a lot about basketball, or if you've played this game a lot over the years, I think this is a vast improvement over what they've had before, and the fact that they keep improving on it is always good. This is your dashboard and your management screen. This is where you're going to basically be doing the meat of your gameplay. Once you've chosen a team, both national and local, you can then get into the crux of starting to really work out how you want to run your teams and the way it wants to go. Your UK dashboard or your national dashboard is obviously going to be a lot less detailed than your local one because you're not managing finances or anything, you're just picking players and making them play. Still a lot to do, but it's not as much to do as your local. As you can see here, you've got your budget, you've got your satisfactions of your directors and your fans. Your objectives on this are only found here for your local team. Whereas with your national, you can go down to the objectives button down here and you can see what the directors and everything want to see for you doing and managing that team. You can see your schedule, your past losses and the upcoming matches, and you can see a overview of your players. You can also see the league table here, which, as you can tell, we are still in friendly zone. We have still got a while to go before we actually get into the league itself, but you can see the teams we're against. And apparently Leicester are fairly high, as they want me to win the competition. First time manager, just coming in, jack of all trades, and they just want me to pull a win out of my arse. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. The next league game is going to be against Newcastle, but we've got ages for that yet. Then you've got other options down here, and there is a lot to go through, so do bear with me. You've got your manager overview here, and this will show you all of your stats. It will show you what position you are and when your contract starts and when it ends. Your annual salary, on both. And then you've got your career here, so you can see what's going on. Like I say, apparently I was with with them for 5 days, and then I've signed another contract. I don't know what's going on with that, and it is worth noting that I did have a weird bug where I loaded into the game and this entire side panel was gone. I had to load out and load back in again to get it to reappear. I don't know what was going on with that. I think it was a loading issue, but do bear that in mind as well. And then you've got trophies and awards, which obviously I don't have any yet because I've been a manager for 6 days. It's fine. It's fine. I am amazing. You can then also resign from either of the teams down here and then start looking for a new one if you so desire as well. Then you've got your messages. This is going to tell you pretty much all of the information you need to know on a regular basis. You can have your filters here. Annoyingly, it kind of shows up as a notification. I don't know if there's a different way they could do that, but I kept clicking on it and was unsure why there was an 8 there, and then I realized that it's because I've got all of the filters selected. But the fact there is a filter there so you can filter out for messages you want, and you can search for specific messages as well, is nice. It will show you whether it's a team, whether it's a player, whether it's about a player, or whether it's a scout, etc. Any injuries, etc. is all going to be there, and then you can delete them periodically as well if you so desire. There is a search key. The search does take a while to load up. It almost as if it freezes the game, and I had a tutorial message come up as well. They could maybe increase that and increase performance there. This is going to be a very heavy CPU game, especially if you have a lot of teams and stuff. You've got your players that you can just search for. You've got your teams that you can search for. Competitions and persons, which I assume are staff. I don't know why they've called it persons. That's a bit weird. Then you can look at your Leicester overview. You can see the best team, what Leicester are. So apparently I am the best in finances. I am not the best location or best for players. Apparently London has best players there. I'm not doing too bad for facilities. You know, you've got your average there. You've got your worst team, which is Guildford. Thankfully, I didn't pick them. And then you've got the best staff. So I have recruited staff. That was one of the first things I did. So you've got your physio and everything, but I'll show you that in the staff later. And then you can see the different leagues that you've got that you can compare them against. So you can see how you're doing. Your schedule is here again, and then you've got your, your city and everything else, all your information, your players, statistics, staff, trophies. Basically, all this is what a lot of down here is. Like, there's a lot of crossover there, right? Your schedule, and it will show you there as well, rankings, and then your records that you've got. You can then go to players here, and you can look at more detailed, and you can obviously start getting more for substitutions and stuff. I definitely want to take him out. I subbed him for Holmes, because Holmes was doing really, really well, and that's when we lost. I have never seen anybody miss so many shots. So with my budget, the next thing I am going to be doing is looking for a new substitute center. You've got your tactics here. This is really nice. It's very, very detailed. I use the assistant coach because, again, I don't really understand basketball that well. Outside of doing these first impressions, I've never really played this game or watched basketball either, but I do like the management side, and the fact that you can set your assistant coach to do it all for you, and then you can make changes from there, which is what I did. So I basically made the assistant coach have it so that Daniel Jansen was in, but in the right position with the 3 out, 2 in, and then I just changed it so that he was a go-to guy because that's one of the promises I made in the contract. So that's there. And then the nice thing is that you've got to get all of these to be correct before you can sort of move on, especially when you are setting up for a new game. You got your offensive tactics here, so you can change the tempo, the shot reparation. You can change it from limit, natural, or crash off bounds. And then you can sort of change how aggressive you want to be this for the main tactics. But again, you can go in each time before the game starts and do all this independently each game, which is what I tend to do because each game is going to be different, and the assistant coach will give you hints and tips as to what they believe would be best. And then you can do the same with the defensive tactics as well. Of course, obviously, this is more of a sort of generalized thing opposed to your individual players on the offensive tactics. And then plays. I obviously haven't looked at this, you can have tutorials on or off, and if they're on, then each time you go on a new screen that you've not been on, it will come up with a tutorial and explain what it is. So yeah, you've got the pick and go, you've got different plays that you can do here and different things. I am not creating one. Nope. So their tactics, if you are hardcore into this, this is going to be the screen for you. I'm leaving it alone. I'm not even gonna, I'm leaving it alone. Yep. You've got training. I have got quite an intensive training schedule that I've done, but you can change it however you see. We've got 3 hours of team training and 2 hours of individual training. I want my team to be quite coherent. Interestingly, you can only have up to 5 hours either way. So that's something. And then you can go into your individual team training here and you can sort of evaluate and see what they're doing and how good they are and how fresh they are, and then you can go into individual and change it to normal, high, etc., depending on who you need to work. So for example, if we are going to keep Ben, we're going to put their intensity on very high because they have no stars. We're going to make their priority a we're going to put them as a playmaker because they're center, right? I would assume that's correct. And then we're going to go with no other position. We're going to leave them at that. And then you've got your team training here. So you can get your cohesion right. And you can see how well, again, the higher this bar is, the better they're going to play. We've got it on high. And priority is defense currently. Or you can change it to balanced, which is probably not the worst idea in the world. Then your schedule. Again, you can literally just see who you're against and sort of plan there, especially with knowing how far away it's going to be, considering where we are. So you can up the training if you know there's going to be a lot of downtime, and reduce it if you think there's going to be not a lot of downtime. Finances gives you a really good overview here of everybody's, you know, wages, your annual. You can see if you're going to be making a profit or a loss. We are currently losing at the minute, but hopefully once we get the stands going and everything, we can start bringing that in. Also, I have been hiring a few people, so that's going to immediately affect that. And then you can look at contracts to see what's going on. So as you can see, I have promised Mr. Daniel Jansen, since he's going to be a star player and he is the best player I've got, a lot of money. He is getting paid a hell of a lot more than Xavier here, who seems to be also one of my best players. So hopefully they don't talk amongst themselves, because that would be bad for me. Facilities. Once you earn enough, you can start upgrading, which is really nice. You can sort of start upgrading your extension and getting things in there. You can see your statistics of the attendance or profit that they're making. Stands. You can start adding more stands in. This is an extension of what they did last time. And it's really nice to see that they have improved on it, because it was a feature I really, really liked. So you need to get your extension before you can start using these areas, but you can put stuff in here. You can put benches or nicer seats, which you can then upgrade, and it will cost you a certain amount of money. I'm going to build it. There you go. It's just cost me 273 grand. I'm doing really well. And then you can upgrade here, and then you've got your shops. This is something that they also had last time, which I really like, and you can start, you know, increasing prices, or you can add sandwiches, or you can really sort of up your profits from making sales if you can get people in. So obviously I wouldn't change much around here for now until we start getting more people in. Then you can start raising prices and, you know, doing that capitalist thing. Then you got your entertainment. You can have cheerleaders if you so desire and get some professionals in. Really costs you a lot, but again, better entertainment in is going to make you more money overall. Then you got your staff. You start with an assistant coach, and then I immediately got a scout, a physio, and a physical trainer, because that is just going to give you more benefit, right? There's going to be no downside to that. The only downside I've got is that Antonio apparently is not a very good scout, according to this. So I've put all my faith in him after scouting Mr. Daniel, and hopefully he gets better and Daniel does indeed prove to be the winner that he says he is. Then you've got your trophies here and all the other good stuff that we showed you earlier. Then you got your recruitment center. This is where you can look at free agents. There is one thing that I would like to see here that's not on. When you filter it, you can't filter it by nationality. You can sort by nationality, but you can't filter nationality, and that's a shame, because you do lose points, or it's a negative according to scouts if the team doesn't have that cohesion. because they can't speak the same language, right? So if I want to look for local talent or, you know, grassroots and find people that are the same nationality as the team I'm playing so that I get that extra team cohesion, it's very, very difficult, and I'm really surprised that they haven't done that. I'm surprised that in the filter here they don't have a nationality, but overall it's not too bad. Like, you can search through players, you can search through age if you want to sort of nurture some younger players, etc. And like you see, you can see that I've already scouted a couple and they can say that they can't really handle more than a couple of minutes or whatever. You've then got your transfer market. Again, this takes a little bit longer to load up, and this will be when the transfer market opens, obviously. You got recruitment, scouting, so you can see what I'm scouting for if I want to go and find people. You got your prospects here, so you can see any of the young prospects that you're looking for. And then your reports. I obviously haven't done a lot here yet, but it's nice that there is this amount of depth. And then the same options down here for your UK. The only difference is that you've got your potential national team players, and I have selected a fair few of them already. Overall, this is a really detailed game, and they have definitely added and expanded upon last year's, which is always good to see. The fact that you've got music in the background is really, really nice. It's one of the things that I have mentioned before, so the fact they've added that in is also good. You can mute it anytime down here, which is a nice little option. And overall, I'm very, very happy. Once you decide to play a game, or once you get to the point of being able to play a game, you'll be presented with this screen. This is very, very similar to last year's, where it shows you the players that they think that you should be keeping an eye on both sides. So obviously here we've got Maurice Walker, who played an absolute blinder of a game last time, although he did get 5 fouls. And then Daniel Jansen, who is my star player that I have obviously recruited. You get the average score of each one, so you can see. So we conceded 86 last time. They conceded 77. They won their last game. And it gives you some records here as well, which is always good. We're at Chester's Arena this time. So we've got 378 fans. We've got it's a very, very close game here with the odds. I might have to change this back. And then you can go to your tactics. And like I say, you can change this here as you go through. We've already got it all set though. And then we start game. As you can see, the graphics have actually changed quite a bit. It is a much better 3D rendition here. And you can see as we go through that you've got people in the stands. You've got your substitutions on the side all the time here, which makes it really nice and easy and quick to see. The only problem I've got is that when you do that, sometimes it comes up on the left-hand side over the right. This is more of a problem on your like quarter time, half time screens, where it sort of covers the information that you need, i.e. what position the player is, so you know who you're switching with. But then you hit start game. You've got pause, normal play speed, double play speed, and triple play speed. It still will take about 5 to 10 minutes for a match to play out, and as you can see, we've got the scoreboards here and the point boards on here. As you can see, the sort of outline is still not ideal. You can turn it off though. I do like the fact that you've got the player names above them. They're a bit easier to read. Maybe what they could do is allow you to customize the outline color and the text. That would be something that I would quite enjoy if they did that. So I could still have it highlighted but not have it hurt my eyes as much. As you go through the game, you'll see that your player's fitness here is shown, so you can see how they're doing. The squares are fouls, and you get all of the information on the right-hand side of whether it's a defensive foul, a shot, how many points the shot is, and you've got commentary underneath the bottom here as well. The animations sped up are quite funny, but overall it's pretty well done, and like I say, it is an improvement on last time. You can also display the statistics up the top. Although it's not a clickable, it is a hover. So you can see how they're doing, and it does seem to pause the game when you do that as well. If they're going to have it as a hover, maybe have the game still going in the background. I don't know if that's too difficult for them to do. In the top right, you've got your tactics. You can call a timeout whenever you so desire. you have your defensive strategy, you've got call outs, you've got sort of screen settings and your overall settings here as well. The timer will count down in the bottom center here. When that gets to 0, the quarter will be over and you will see what changes you can make. You can congratulate players if you so desire, etc. We are winning. Like, our starting lineup is very, very good. The problem is that, like I say, my substitutes not as good, and that is a slight problem, and that causes me to lose more often than not, especially when I'm against a team that is so evenly matched with myself. Anything can happen. Once you've got to the quarter, or they've called a timeout, you can then go through here. You can tell somebody if they are doing good or congratulate them. It'd be nice if you had a few more instructions you can do. You've also got your overall collective instructions that you can do here as well, and then you can do any timeout or any substitutions. We're actually not going to yet because we're not even at the end of the first quarter. That was a timeout that was called, not by us. So overall, I'm very, very happy with this. I think this game has come along a long way since I first covered it in 2021, and if they continue making the improvements that they are doing, and if they can change a couple of things, maybe work out a few of the small bugs and improve loading times, this really will be a contender as one of the best management games there is. I have really enjoyed my time on this, and again, if you guys want to see me do sort of like a let's play or a full season with Leicester or starting with a different team, please do let me know in those comments down below, and I will see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. Ciao, ciao.